So today we will be talking about technology behests cataract surgery. Behests means it commands. Nowadays, as we all know, we are the most prominent surgeons in respective areas. We know that cataract surgery is no more taken for granted. We need to do things little bit more to give our patients a pleasurable experience. And that pleasurable experience not only boosts you, but your practice as well. So today we have a lot of galaxy of speakers who will be figuring out the things, how to make it more or lucid, how to make it more helpful for our patient, for our provider, for the caretakers who have come with a hope that you will give a good vision to them. So hence, cataract surgery is no more about general surgery. It requires a lot of customization. Customization is very, very important. Like individually, you have to see what are the patient wants and what are the things you need to do for individual patient. And meticulousness. Every procedure requires a lot of meticulousness so that whatever the outcome you are desiring, it will be coming. And that eventually will develop a trust between us and the patient. So this is the course. So I'll be starting with my presentation. The first topic is, so I'm able to see, but I'm not comfortable at all. Did we miss the bus of assessment of the ocular surface? So a successful cataract surgery does not guarantee you to have a good trust between your patient. Patient will be unhappy. See, in this case, I've done a multifocal IOL. Still, that patient has come to me and always she doesn't complain about vision. She always complains about itching, irritation, foreign body sensation, sensitivity to light, all these complaints. So we are missing something in here. We are missing something about the ocular surface. Hence, it is very imperative to identify what are the problems you have on the ocular surface and deal with them accurately. This is a very important study which was published last year. You can see here, 19% of the asymptomatic patients with frail ocular surfaces developed a significant risk and significant complication post-surgical dry eye disease symptoms. So there, as you all know, the dry eye disease symptoms include the itching, irritation, foreign body sensation, sensitivity to light, and sometimes ocular pain also can be considered as a symptom of dry eye disease. And it's very important to see 19% of the patients, like 1 out of 5 patients have some form of ocular surface problem. And because you have not dealt with those patients earlier, these patients eventually will develop a significant ocular surface problem and have a good vision, but not quality vision. If you look at this corneal topography, this is the anterior float. If you could see here, no 2 points are similar. So if you see, the corneal is not regular. The surface of the cornea is not smooth. And if the light rays falling on an irregular corneal surface, definitely there will be having a lot of irregular refraction. So you need a tear film which covers that irregularities, which compensates for that irregularities to give a smooth and a better quality of images for the patient. Hence, post-cataract surgery is very important to have a good ocular surface. Most of the time, we misdiagnose this problem. Hence, it is very essential for us to identify this problem at an early stage or at the preoperative stage, so that once we can treat in the preoperative level, after surgery, patient will have a smooth vision.
यहाँ पे लाइट नहीं आता है ना पीछे
Can the other mute, please? Cataracts and dry eye disease are very commonly associated in the elderly. You can see in this study, phacoemulsification can independently induce or exacerbate dry eye disease symptoms, and it's very important. So doing a good phacosurgery with 2.2 to 1.8 or 2.8, whatever it is, when you are dealing with astigmatism, you have to deal with the ocular surface also. You may be thinking that you are giving less astigmatism, the good quality image to the patient, but at the end of the day, after 1 month, the patient will having a definite symptoms of discomfort and poor vision because of the surface disease. Why a patient develops a dry eye disease? It's very, very important, because there are certain theories why the patient develops because of the excessive use of topical anesthetics before the surgery and exposure desiccation that may cause a dry eye. There is a theory of possible light toxicity from the operating microscope, because as we are doing the surgery at the cornea level, because earlier the surgery used to be at the sclerocorneal level, we were not cutting the cornea, but now we are doing at the corneal level, we are transecting the nerve, we are cutting the nerves. And there are definitely post-surgical, any surgery, there is an increase in the inflammatory factors, goblet cell loss, and all these factors, which eventually causes poor ocular surface. Most importantly, the patients have a preoperative meibomian gland dysfunction, which was missed beforehand, and these patients has an aggravation of meibomian gland dysfunction, causing ocular surface problem. So this is a very important epidemiological study which I had seen, which I came to know. Here you can see in this study, around 51.8% of the general population and 68.3% of the general population had some form of MGD. That means a lot of geriatric people, almost like more than half of the people have some form of MGD. And if this MGD is not taken care of, because MGD is very important, meibomian glands are very important for the tear film. It contributes to the lipid layer of the tear film. And if there is any dysfunction of the meibomian gland, like obstructive MGD or some form of meibomian gland loss, the lipid layer comes down, and definitely the tear film, the aqueous part of the component, will evaporate early, causing dry eye symptom. Patient will have increased blinking. Patient will have a lot of discomfort. Meibomian gland identification, dysfunction identification is very, very important. Before cataract surgery, you need to just evert the lids and see the lid margin, whether you are having certain pouts or any paste-like secretions which are coming out of the meibomian gland. These cases needs to be handled before cataract surgery, so that the patient will not, there will be no aggravation of meibomian gland dysfunction. This we can identify the lipid layer with the non-invasive investigations also, where you can see this uses the technology called as auto interferometry, where you can identify the lipid layer, and it's a non-invasive test. And during these COVID times, you can identify this lipid layer with no problem, because when you're touching the patient, there is a risk of COVID transmission from the tear film. But when there are non-invasive tests, the chances of COVID transmission is less. Tear meniscus height under the slit lamp examination is again a very, very important identification, or a very important sign to see whether the patient is having any dry eye disease. Ideally, it's very difficult to see the measurement, to do the measurements, but you can take certain photographs and you can measure. If it is less than 0.25 millimeter, then you are dealing with something in some dry eye disease. You can go for a video corneal topography and also see whether there is the tear meniscus height is proper or not. Patient having less than 0.25 millimeters of tear meniscus height needs to be carefully evaluated, needs to be investigated for other causes like connective tissue diseases or any arthritic diseases. And these patients needs to be treated at an early stage, so that the patient's aggravation of dry eye disease will be less. Breakup time is again a very, very important. You can see here the breakup time video. So tear film breakup time. Helps you to determine the quality of the tear film, ocular surface tear film protection, and lower the number, like if it is less than 8 seconds or less than 5 seconds, greater is the number of symptoms. This can be identified by test also, where you can use a corneal topography or Placido rings to identify the amount of tear film breakup time, which is called as NIBUT, or non-invasive breakup time. Hence, we did a small study about 30 eyes of 30 patients. This was an in-house study, which is not yet published, which we thought of assessing the patient of dry eye symptoms post-surgery. Patients with a negative history of all endocrine diseases like thyroid diseases, arthritis, and chronic topical drug usage were excluded from the study. Included, it has been written, it is excluded from the study. All these patients were assessed for dry eye disease. And you can see there was a significant reduction of lipid profile from 48 to 40. The number was reduced at 1 month post-op. And there was also significant reduction in NIBUT from 9.6 to 7.5. And there was also reduction of tear meniscus height to 0.18. And this has been validated in the present in a new study which was published in last year from Lucknow, and they have shown that there is a significant reduction in Shermer test in TBUT, Lissamin green staining, as well as OSDI, that ocular surface staining score. Also, there was significant reduction from the pre-operative compared to the post-operative 1 month. You can see here the T-BUT has reduced from 13.5 to 9.64. Hence, it is very critical and essential to identify the risk factors like connective tissue disorders, thyroid dysfunction, psychiatric condition, computer usage, ocular allergy, history of refractive surgery, topical drugs, T-BUT with fluorescein, meibomian gland expressibility, and conjunctival folds. All these are very, very important clinical signs to identify the patient, whether the patient is having any poor ocular surface. And you can, with these signs, you can calculate the ocular surface frailty index, and according to that index, you can see what should be done before cataract surgery. At least 1 month prior to the surgery, you can treat those conditions, treat the inflammation, give them good lubrications, treat them with cyclosporin, and after 1 month, you can perform the surgery so that the patient will have a good visual outcome. And in all the premium surgeries, I would suggest my viewers to have a dry eye assessment and specular microscopy in their part of the curriculum in the pre-operative cataract assessment, because it's very important nowadays in the medical legal conditions, in the this thing, we need to have a proper dry eye assessment. This is my concluding slide. And triaging your cataract patients for dry and chronically inflamed surfaces are very, very critical. Cases with significant risk factors, poor lipid layers, NIBUT less than 8 seconds, and TMH of less than 0.020 needs to be treated at least 1 month prior to cataract surgery. So thank you very much for the